You could be black, you could be Asian, you
Right.
could be Indian, you
Right.
could be anything, and imagine you were in that costume.
Right.
So I think that made it relevant to everybody everywhere.
Right.
And that was accidental. I mean,
Right.
I don't think we planned it that way, but
Right.
it was very fortuitous.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the perfect sequel. And when I mean perfect sequel, I don't mean that this is better than the first movie. I don't think that. In my opinion, Into the Spider-Verse is a perfect 10 out of 10. It's a perfect, beloved film that anyone can watch. This movie, however, while amazing by all right, I mean, this is like a very close second to the first movie. There are just some flaws that, that are in this movie, but not enough for me to dislike this movie. If anything, this is like one of the best animated films of all time, next to Into the Spider-Verse. Now, with this movie, I was gonna get into the negatives. One of my flaws with this movie in general is the pacing with this movie. I think the pacing could have been done a little bit better. There are some slow moments that drag on a little bit, and I think could have been done better in a sense. Along with that, and that's really about it. Besides pacing, there's no real issues with me here. Well, except for the ending, but I'm going to mention that later. Besides that, everything in this movie is amazing, especially the animation. Into the Spider-Verse was a complete game changer when it came to the animation. In general, most movies nowadays use this type of art form, and it looks stunning and gorgeous, and they amped it up to a high degree because they have so many new dimensions and places to go to where the animation style changes, and it all looks so amazing, fluid, and it just looks like every frame in this movie looks like a work of art. Like, everything pops out, everything looks highly detailed. It's like you could tell they put so much time, love, and care into this movie. Now, going into the story, with the marketing for this movie, I didn't know what to expect, because with as we all know, most movies nowadays basically spoil the whole movie. And while we did know that, Miles and Miguel O'Hara would be, clashing with one another, I didn't expect the type of, conflict to go with this. And I like how this story in general basically is about, who Miles is. Because, you have those Phantom Menaces and all those, and, neurotic, saying that Miles Morales is Miles Morales. He's not Spider-Man, even though Stan Lee himself said that anyone can be Spider-Man. Anyone can wear the mask. And I like the fact that this movie basically makes that, the thing in this movie about, who Miles is. And I like the fact that, we get to see more of, Miles' relationships with his mom and his dad in this movie, because the fact that he's going out into new worlds, I think it's good for him to have someone for him to latch onto and take what he learned on his way. And also with other characters, with Spider-Gwen, I really like the fact that she has more screen time and more character development. I really like with her and her dad. I think that's pretty cool, and especially with her character arc with, trying to be with Miles and trying to protect the multiverse. I think that's done really well. And with the multiverse, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, is, minor spoilers, I guess, is a really good villain. I like the fact that he's just he thinks that they're the good guys, even though in a moral sense they're kind of not, because the whole Spider-Verse society is just gunning it for Miles because of what he's doing, disrupting the multiverse. And I think it's how, no one's completely right and no one completely is wrong, and how they have different ideologies on how to handle this situation. And, characters-wise, this is, minor, but, something I have problems with. So, they have Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman, right? And she's pregnant, and she's just, she's fighting crime, and the fact that you potentially putting your kid in danger like that is weird. I don't know, it's just awkward to me, I guess. And don't think I'm doing double standard here. I'm getting on Peter B. Parker because he's bringing Mayday into battle, and I'm like, why are you doing this? There's this scene when they're on a train And Peter is on there, and he literally has his baby just strapped to him as well. And I'm like, dude, you're in a perilous situation where you could die. Like, I don't get what he's doing. But yeah, like those characters, like I really love Peter B. Parker in the first movie. I really still do like him in this movie, but he gets knocked some points here, man. Dude, why did he bring a baby? Whatever. The cameos in the characters that also show up in this film are amazing. Like, some people, because I really thought that this movie would be hinging on the references and the, multiverse thing in general, like how, the MCU was doing. But this movie really shows how it actually understands how to do the multiverse and to connect it to the themes of the movie that they're trying to tell. Because with the MCU, I think that they just go like, hey, look, that character you remember. Well, in this movie, while there are scenes whenever you go like, yeah, that character I remember, they at least take the time to show you why they're there and why it matters to that story. And sometimes, it's just, hey, look, that character. But the point is that this movie is amazing. It's spectacular. It's, my opinion so far, one of the best films of 2023. Now, the reason why I'm not giving this a 10 out of 10 like the original one is because the ending. I think most people knew that this was part one, from the first trailer and all that. Originally supposed to be Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, and next year Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. But they changed the title, and we basically got left off on a cliffhanger. Now, my thing with this is, like, I feel like with the ending of this movie, I feel like it had more of a, I feel like the suspense was building up, you know what I mean? Because take Infinity War or Empire Strikes Back, for example. Both those movies are basically two-parters, Infinity War more so, but they at least have these climactic endings to where they end off at a point where you should end the movie off. This movie, I feel like, really would have benefited if it had some sort of, like, big climactic moment. And I'm guessing, like that, the spider chase or whatever, that thing was supposed to be it. But I don't know, I feel like they could have ended it a little bit better, in a sense. I don't know. But overall, this movie is, like I said, amazing. I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. If it wasn't for that ending, it would be a 10 out of 10 right with Into the Spider-Verse. But this movie is still amazing. You need to watch this movie. But yeah, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Whopper.
What the bun?